On this episode of 5 Minutes of Cloud, we're going to talk about unikernels. If you've done any reading recently about containers or microservices, or even serverless computing and the whole functional computing space, or functions as a service system space, you'll probably come across at least one or two articles about unikernels. And often they talk about these ultra lightweight kernels that really simplify the entire application development paradigm. But the reality is that a unikernel is just the pieces of the operating system that the application actually needs. So it's very similar to a container where within a container, at least in a lightweight container, we can abstract our application down to just our core application and any libraries or supporting functions that that one particular application requires. And in the case of serverless, we strip the thing down to the bare minimum. What is the actual function I want to run? Now, it turns out that even then, I'm probably pre-compiling in libraries and components into my application binary. Well, the unikernel concept is effectively like the serverless extension of the container-based world in the same way that one would apply that to a virtual machine world. Because with the unikernel concept, the unikernel does not run on top of an operating system. The unikernel is the operating system and application merged together with all of the extraneous operating system resources stripped out. So this is the lightest weight possible application that can run standalone on a bare metal compute instance. Unlike a container where there's an expectation that there are an additional set of externalized libraries and components, the operating system that sits underneath the container. So unikernel is effectively like serverless is to containers, unikernel is to virtual machine. And most people today do not deploy unikernels on bare metal. They usually deploy a unikernel application in a virtual machine. It's just that it's very lightweight, often doesn't need disk services, often is just network attached. That's enough of a resource for the unikernel application to run. And that's usually about it. The application can run very rapidly. And many people use these much in the same way that they would serverless or function-based programming paradigm, where the unikernel application, because it is effectively compiled all together and there are no additional services that need to be launched, can be turned on as soon as somebody requests that particular resource. At the extreme case, we're talking about every web transaction can launch a new unikernel-based application to respond to that one transaction and then disappear when it's done. That's sort of the extreme model of this. And that's why I say it looks a lot like the serverless or function-based programming environment where an event like an HTTP request can establish a connection to a new serverless function being run, often inside of a container, and implement the service that way. So unikernels are purpose-built sub-application and operating system binaries merged together. Serverless are functions embedded in containers to provide container-level efficiencies for application deployment. And this is a new technology that is appropriate to certain application environments. This has been Robert Starmer with Kumulus Technologies, bringing you another episode of 5 Minutes of Cloud.